And welcome to our IP and IC Working in Concert series, where we're going to look at using IC as an advanced data management and visualization toolkit for your IP wells. I'm going to take the next few minutes to talk about building correlations with your IP analysis data alongside your geological IC data directly from a map. To understand the structural and stratigraphic distribution of your zones, it's important to visualize multiple wells across your basin or field together. These displays can easily highlight any lateral or vertical changes or show any structural impact on reservoir distribution or actually any aspect of petroleum systems. Using the correlation wizard is a quick and easy way to generate these displays, from where interactive updates can be carried out directly. Highlighting specific zones across the wells on standard plots can build a more holistic understanding of the subsurface and lead you to more effective team discussions and decision makings going forward. Once you've started to build up your analysis results in IP, your IC toolkits are accessed directly from within through the IC option in the Advanced Interpretation menu. The configuration dialog opens, allowing you to choose which wells, curve sets and parameter sets are to be shared. Now in IC, we're presented with the map as we last saved it, showing some component bubbles, queries and analysis sticks, as well as a structural contour grid. As a direct result of running these kind of analyses on the map, we can identify specific wells that we want to look at more closely. One of the tools on the map is the correlation builder, a way to choose our wells directly on the map and decide which information we need to see and work with to identify the extent of our reservoir, for example. A step-by-step wizard guides you through choosing the extent of the review. For example, having the database provide the extreme minimum and maximum data coverage for every well chosen, or drilling down into that data and choosing a data table and a specific data type to work with. Ultimately, we can drill deeper than that and choose specific zones or two. There's also an option to add a buffer either side, so adding on several meters or feet either side of our chosen depth ranges. The horizontal and vertical scaling is set during this stage, but they can be modified very easily once you're in the chart canvas. Choosing a template allows you to use one of the database standard plots to show the relevant data to your wells and the story that you're trying to tell. These can be built easily and accessed across your database to maintain that corporate standard display. If you've already created a plot in IP and saved that, we can directly choose that PLT file and use it to build our chart. The auto tie options allow you to select a data type that you want to see tied across the wells, highlighting your zones, for example. These ties can be later managed through the ties manager on the chart. The resulting correlation shows the vertical offsets of the wells relative to one another. We're able to manipulate the relative position of the wells, a single well, or multiple wells at the same time. We can go and reset the interwell distance from that fixed separation to based on our surface well locations. Notice that the ties maintain and modify their shape to maintain that connection. It's easy to shift our depth displays up or down, or even zoom in on a particular zone that we have more interest in. It's also possible to use the tie to flatten on and highlight specific changes in the basin geometry. We can also go in and change the properties of a particular tie to help highlight the appearance for one or indeed all units. It's also possible to manually tie units or picks across the wells and use those alongside the other ties to help highlight specific units. For example, if I were to add in some additional data, biozone age data, and use that as a data type to update and create ties. We can see these ties sit on top of the others. Ties can also be changed as a direct result of updating the data itself. Once we have our edit data mode on, we can modify and repick our tops, for example, that will cause our ties to reshape. And this can happen in any well to any extreme, and you'll see the ties change accordingly. The ties manager allows us access to all ties automatically generated and modify them, for example, untying them all. Note that the manually added ties are still included. It does allow us to go in and choose specific zones, one at a time, to help us highlight specific units or events, such as pinch-outs. In addition to plotting the wells and correlating them in depth, IC has the ability to plot these in age. Now this is once we have stratigraphic schemes built and assigned to the database. When changing the vertical scaling, it's always easier to start with untied wells and tying fresh when you're in age. Once plotted in age, we can use the ties manager to highlight our particular zones. These can help us identify any large-scale unconformities, be they more local or more regional in extent. Once the correlations are complete, it's possible to add a location map to the chart, highlight the line of section displayed here between the wells. And this is the beginning of what we call a montage display. What we've just gone through should have given you a taste of how IC can quickly generate a correlation panel with control over what and how things are displayed. Interactive ties between each well can help highlight specific intervals. These displays can be modified to look at different vertical scales, including age, to help highlight regional versus local unconformities and potential impacts that may have on your petroleum system. Thank you all for watching. If you have any questions or comments, or indeed if you just want to keep in touch and keep up to date with our latest news, please get in touch with our team or subscribe by following the link.